Hello, W.A.K Pack, and welcome to our second official Unhinged Binge to bring in the
Woo!
new year. Yeah, that's right, Unhinged Binge. I was the victim this time, and actually, I got a little bit lucky, I would say, because the boys chose for me to binge Cyberpunk Edgerunners, hit
Yeah.
Netflix series that came
The
out last
real
year.
winner of Best Adaptation at the Game Awards. I don't care what League of Legends got. They didn't win.
To be
Yeah.
fair, I've heard that show is very good too. But yeah, after binging Edge Runners, I will say that was dank. It was a super solid show. It was just over 4 hours long. It's only 10 episodes. Each one is about 25 minutes. That's including the opening and closing credits. Which, of course, I once I figured out that it was the same each episode, I skipped each time. So I finished in about
Yeah.
3 hours, 45 minutes. Shaved off like half an hour, which was solid. But also, I didn't want to. But I didn't want to finish it all in one sitting. It's definitely doable. I'm here. I did it. It was great. But we'll get into more of that a little later
You
on.
did that. You did that today.
I finished. I literally just finished like an hour and a half ago. Or
Nice.
Fresh.
Well, just make sure for the audience.
no, I started at 4 o'clock today. It's now 9:03. I finished around 7:45 ish.
Nice.
Here we are.
Yeah, that's not bad.
But yeah, overall, I'd say it was great. The show was super cool. We're gonna go off and on about that, but of course,
Yeah.
to start this, the dudes are gonna ask me a couple of questions just to see what I
The
was able to
fans.
comprehend, see what I was able to keep during that experience. So fire away.
Can I go first?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can ask the first question.
All right. So, general obvious question I'm going to ask straight off the bat. So, after watching this show, how do you now feel about the game and the world of Cyberpunk?
Yeah. So I've probably mentioned on a previous episode, but I still haven't played Cyberpunk. Um, and like what you said before, because you also hadn't played before watching the show,
Mhm.
and then immediately started playing, which is exactly what I want to do now. I'm like, it is on sale. I do really want to play that game because I want to be one of these characters. I want
It's
those
sick.
abilities. Yeah, I want to explore that world. It was super cool. And I mean, after all the upgrades and love that they've given Cyberpunk, it's really had a turnaround. And so I feel like now is definitely the time.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna test some of your retention abilities really quick. David Martinez.
Yeah.
What district is he from?
The lower one.
Yeah. Whoa. That immediately goes for the home run hit.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't remember the district names. He wasn't there for long. They were the slums, though.
Okay,
Sorry.
you know what the city's
Which?
called, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, did you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
bro.
know.
It's NC, bro. North Carolina. It was
Yeah,
sick.
dude. North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Night City.
all
No,
all
it's
of
Night
it.
City. Overall, Night City. Yeah, I do forget where the slums were, but that is fair because you forgot where Stranger Things took place. So I don't feel bad.
Oh yeah. So we're
Yeah.
starting off strong with geography skills.
Yeah.
Right. At least the overall place. And you
Yeah.
know what? Spoiler, took place on the moon a little bit too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There's some moon travel there.
So the moon, do you know why was the moon important? Do you know that?
Well, you see, the moon actually plays a really important function with planets and how the ocean works and grass. Yeah, it was important for the main characters and their
But
overall
why,
dream.
though?
Are we jumping into that? You want me to just what was the ending about?
Yeah, like I'm just asking for attention. Things like who's
Hey, it's been out for a while, so there are no spoiler holes here. So
That's true. That's true.
we're going
I'm the
in.
one who's behind here. But yeah, I mean that was Lucy's dream was to go to
Word.
the moon. Yeah, and she did.
There were two.
She did.
There were two members.
She did.
There were two members of the crew that were related. Do you?
Becca. I honestly don't remember his. I knew you were gonna ask me her brother's name. I do remember it's her
Oh
brother.
yeah.
I don't. I never caught his name, but he was the
It's
hands
cool. I
guy.
forget it too. It's kind of weird. It's like
And it is an anime,
like
to be fair.
phalanges because of his fingers.
Besides, okay, I guess they didn't go crazy with the names. Now that I think about it, or
Yeah, I
maybe it
was.
is, and that's why I don't remember because everyone else is David and Lucy and
Yeah,
Becca.
Yeah.
Becca and Lucy.
Like, but yeah, but that was
The
no, sorry, keep going.
okay, yeah, just a little bit more attention. The main fixer that
Oof.
Main's crew dealt with.
Faraday, yeah,
Faraday, yeah,
something like
that's right.
Faraday. Yeah. Played by Giancarlo, bro.
Yeah, okay.
So good.
How
Also, fuck
scared
that
were
guy.
you when you saw Adam Smasher?
I maybe it's because I was binging it, and but I really thought David was gonna get him. I was like, not worried
Yeah.
until 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 Becca and well, no,
The
I guess
emotions are hitting. I feel it,
what's
bro.
his face? Who's the other guy? Um,
There's
mu-
Maine was
mustache guy.
the
No, not Maine.
Falco.
Yeah, Falco. No, Falco made it, but yeah, once Becca got hit, I was like, oh fuck.
Oh
I
yeah,
will
no, Becca
definitely
hit me
say
hard too.
that is the turning point of that ending. Like right when that happens, and it repeats it 3 separate times, and you're just like, oh,
Oof,
like it's worse and
you
worse
got to
every
repeat that
time.
line.
And from oh god, I don't even remember how I went about that.
It's fine. We could have just kept calling.
Anyway,
They
yeah,
replay it 3 times.
from that
Yeah,
pivotal moment, it's like, okay, things are not
and that's
gonna
honestly
be
my
good.
bad. I don't know why. I thought the whole time, um, it was gonna. I didn't think this was a one-off. Like I really expected David and Lucy to make it, and because I thought there was gonna be a season two, I expected the crew to like, but nah, I was like, and it really took me until like David was just losing against Adam Smasher to be like, oh, this is like watching Rogue One and not putting the pieces together.
Yeah, until the very
Right. And then I just got one more question for retention purposes. What was David's mom's job?
Well, she was also an edge runner, but
Yeah, she was.
it looked like she was like an EMT kind of.
Yeah,
Like that's what that
yeah,
jacket looked like. I don't
essentially.
think they ever
yeah.
specifically
She's like
said.
a basic EMT. She wasn't like trauma team or
Yeah,
nothing, but she was an EMT.
that's what it looked like. But
And
also she was an edge
she
runner,
would
which turned
scout
out pretty
parts,
sick.
sell
Yeah,
them.
and she was clearly good if you're gonna get your hands on what she got.
Yeah.
What is
The
it called?
Sandevistan. Oh
The
my lord.
Sandevestein.
Oh my lord.
Very cool.
One
Very
of the
cool.
coolest
Yeah,
pieces of hardware.
yeah. If that's it for the Q&A, which I clearly smashed because I mean I just talked.
Which I Adam smashed, baby. Let's
Which
go.
Adam smashed.
We might as well just keep talking about the show, but like I did
Chromed
write
up.
some.
No,
We might as
yeah.
well go episode by episode because I did write a couple notes as I could. You'll
Oh,
notice
sure.
the notes got less and less as I got more invested.
Well,
Episode
also,
one, bro.
I just kind of want to discuss some things with all of us
Oh,
too. Just a couple of things like who was y'all's favorite character in the show? Now that we're in the nerd out
mm,
aspect, mine was Becca. Becca was my favorite character.
I'm not
At
surprised.
first she was real rough, but she really grew on me by the end, and she was like literally the most trustworthy person that David had.
Yeah,
Essentially,
honestly,
yeah.
to the end. Well, but also Falco was
Yeah,
trustworthy. I'd say
but
too.
Falco was always like the silent,
Honestly,
which is crazy because he was voiced by Matthew Mercer, and I just feel like he didn't actually have that many lines.
what was the other Maya? Something like that.
Kiwi.
Maya.
Kiwi, yo, fuck
Yeah, but
Kiwi
I'm about to
Kiwi,
say nobody likes
bro.
Kiwi, bro.
This
Come
shit
on.
big,
with her blue
because
nipples.
Maine is the one
With
who
her
tells him
blue
not to trust
nipples.
anyone, and then it was Kiwi, man. That was the one, bro.
Yeah,
No, when
that
Kiwi betrayed the team, when I found out, I was like, oh, they need to kill that bitch.
that's essentially like the underlying theme of all of Cyberpunk is just like you can't necessarily trust everyone, you know?
That's where it's gonna be hard for me is the actual, like, role-playing aspect of the
Mhm.
game. Like, I'm very excited to be a tech runner or edge runner, and use, like, hacking to just accomplish
It's a
everything, but
long
also
road, man.
making the, like, choices, the dialogue options, and choosing who to be friends with, that's gonna drive me crazy. It's gonna be so hard.
Yeah.
I do know that after watching Edge Runners, though, I'm not going corpo. There's no way I'm
So
starting out.
I really want to solidify this for Rhett, like in his mind, real quick. So what's cool, shout out to CD Projekt Red, is right after the success of this show, they actually updated the game with the Edge Runners update. So there's a little bit of Edge Runners content. You can get David's jacket, you can get Becca's shotgun. Um,
Oh, that's sick.
there's like a side mission where you can like text back and forth with Falco about David's legacy. Like it's really really cool. And like so immediately after I watched the show, I logged into the game and went to Arasaka Tower and just stood by the giant goldfish and just took
Oh,
pictures of the fucking goldfish, dude. I was like still heartbroken. So it was a magical moment. But
yeah, the
Yeah.
we'll
Wait.
get
So
to
who are
the
y'all's
ending, but
favorite
yeah, that was a lot.
characters?
Oh,
I
yeah.
yeah, I was about to say I damn it, I'm gonna be that simp, bro, because like Lucy been dope, son. Lucy been like
Lucy
the
got
dopest
scary.
edge runner, bro.
Honestly, kinda I knew you were gonna ask, and I was, like, trying to think about it the whole time, and I'm honestly not really sure yet. I feel like I wanna rewatch it. I mean,
It's too
obviously,
fresh.
Lucy and Becca were cool. Um, but I mean, all the characters were really well written, I thought. Like, even Faraday was, like, a cool character.
No, yeah.
You
Always.
That's honestly
you know,
something
like
that's really refreshing just to get in a one-shot anime real quick is like all the characters felt fully fleshed out. They had their own problems, they had their own kind of world to deal with. And it's rare that you get writing that good in a one shot,
yeah, for
especially
sure.
Yeah.
funded by a game company. It's not
That
very common.
recently before this had a lot of controversy. Thought their studio sunk, dude.
Yeah, yeah, that I do agree now that this show probably saved them a bit.
Oh no, yeah, man, it's great because it's so weird. I feel like every single person that like watches the series in its entirety is like, "Oh, I want to play Cyberpunk now,"
Yeah. You got
because
to.
like you
I mean,
just
it's
want to
cool.
feel.
Well, and that's something I wanted to bring up too and that's, like, one of the very first notes I wrote is that well, I was like, "Oh, this is very video game-like." Like, the things that were happening, I was like, "This feels like a video game." And then he, like, took off the specs, and I was like, "Oh, it was a video game.
Oh my
LOL."
god.
But then it
Oh
also
my
wasn't.
god.
Like, that's my first did he, like was he just watching, like, a replay of that incident,
Yeah,
or
so
did
those
he,
are
like
called brain dances.
yeah, the
Yeah.
brain so it was just a replay. He
BDs.
didn't, like, actually cause that to happen
No,
out
yeah.
there. 'Cause
Think
he
of
went
it,
by
it's like
that,
a
like
virtual reality movie, but you also feel everything that's going on at the same time. So
he
like
went through
feel the adrenaline because that
yeah.
actually happened. That
Was that
scene.
the same thing that happened, like, I guess the day before? Because he walked by. He the next morning, he
Yeah,
walks by that
Yeah.
crime scene.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
His
he
mom
just,
was
like
the EMT that showed up on the scene. And that's the
mm,
Sandeva scene that she scalped.
Yeah. That was the first
There
taste
man,
you
of
go.
cyber
Yeah, dude.
psychosis.
Some
that
things,
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
which
it's really
honestly
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then
that bro, that intro is heavy, dude.
Yeah.
When
no, I
he
was
first
Blowing those cops
activates it
away.
and just starts spinning, you're like, what's
And what's
happening?
crazy, so like in the game too, like they go more in depth with the brain dances. Like you like do quests with like brain dance authors and stuff, and you
Kind
actually
of
get to see
annoying.
like how they make the brain dances and everything. And
oh, that's neat.
what the Ripper doc was doing when he was basically watching porn, that's a brain dance as well.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah. but then everyone's got like a fucking penis device. A fucking like
Yeah,
That's the future, dog.
like
they
the
really
auto.
nailed the dystopian future.
The next thing I wrote was music is fire, which I think held up. I
Music
did
was
notice they did use the
oh,
same few songs, but like they were used so well. I thought like
Yeah.
it was
those songs
always
are
fire.
also in
Yeah,
Cyberpunk the
always
game as well.
real.
On your
Oh
car stereo.
Yeah, they're on radio stations and shit.
before or after the update? Like, did they take all that music from the
I
game?
think it's after. I think it was after the update. They added
Okay, fair enough.
That I
stations.
want to stay at your house or whatever was in the game since open, because I saw a lot of people saying that was their favorite song, and then they saw the show and was like, "Well, I'm glad I wasn't the only one."
Nice. That's
Word.
cool.
Okay.
That song was like in the game from the beginning, and I have even gone as far as to watch that chick perform that song live, and it's still mind blowing.
Oh, that's
It's a really
oh
catchy
my
song.
Nah, it
Yeah.
was
Also,
great. And then
the
when they
Rat
went
Boys song.
the what boys?
It's the singers are like called Rat Boys, but like it's the one where like I was a teenager. It's the one where when
Oh,
David's
I
walking to
think
school and it's playing with like the
no, that one
horn.
is yeah, and I think that's probably the first one. That might be the first one you hear, and it's like nice. This is
Yeah, it's a bop.
chill. This
It's
is
pretty good.
catchy. Yeah, and also
The only gripe is that there was no Samurai in it, which Samurai is Johnny Silverhand's band.
Yeah.
That's in the game. And if you look at the timelines, there definitely should have been some Samurai music in Edgerunners.
Yeah.
maybe they're saving it because do you? I mean, I guess to jump to the end a little bit, do you think it's gonna be like there's gonna be more cyberpunk series? Like Edgerunners seem
I
like
feel like it
ended.
was wildly successful, so they might do another Cyberpunk series, but I feel like it's not going to be Edgerunners. It's going to
No,
be
Yeah.
no, they
something
clearly
completely
ended
different.
at least these characters' stories.
Well, I mean, like, if you look at it from the like styles that you can choose in the game, it's like we just saw the story of the street kid. So if they were to do more, we could see an outlaw or
Yeah,
a corpo.
if they could do a Nomad or maybe a Corpo
Nomad.
storyline as well, that would be kind of cool.
Possible. I don't see why not.
Yeah, but that being said, I don't know because I mean, CD Projekt Red put a lot into Edgerunners too. You know, and now they're working on The Witcher 4, and they're also working on an update for Cyberpunk, and they've already said that they're going to be doing Cyberpunk 2. So like I don't know if they're going to devote any more time into
a series.
material like that right now. So it might be a long wait. It might be until Cyberpunk 2 fails and they have to revitalize that with an anime.
We're just holding it in their back pocket. They might
Right, that'd be horrible. Like they drop Cyberpunk 2 and it's the same train wreck, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
like check it out though, Edgerunners 2.
Yo, but
No
that
one
Witcher
actually
4 though, it would just completely drop Cyberpunk. No more. Don't even mention it.
No,
But-
yeah. But I mean, if they do more though, I feel like because like Night City's a pretty big place, and I mean, yeah, there's like the outskirts, but it's like what David and them do, like goes across all of Night City. You know, like everyone knows about David Martinez and his gang, so like they'd have to do a different timeline. They're not going to touch the game's timeline because they're not going to mess with V because that's your character. So like you heavily impact what actually happens in Night City with your character. So they'd have to go with a different timeline from Edgerunners and from the game. It would be cool if they did like a little animated series about Johnny Silverhands, maybe the Cyberpunk Silverhands.
The Cyberpunk Silverhands with like 3 S's. Cyberpunk Silverhands.
No, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. I mean, he was a rock star and a terrorist. Like, that's such a good.
Well, I mean, but again, that you got to save that for the game though, because that's part of V's thing.
But is Johnny Silverhands going to be in the second game?
He's in the DLC. Come on, well,
back back to Edgerunners, because we started on the music was fire and got to here.
Yeah.
But also in episode 1 specifically, the dialogue seemed very on rhythm. Like, I didn't happen to notice that later on. It could have been, but episode 1 was very, like, the music was hitting and the dialogue
I
felt
was
very
about to
rhythmically
say,
attached to the music, and the
I
voice acting
remember
throughout was fire.
episode 1 being kind of cringy for some reason. Like, the fight scene with David and the bully was just like hyper
David
exaggerated.
punched that bully in the face at the
No,
same time.
yeah. Well, it's
He's
like it's like you're watching him smoke David, but then at the same time he's like just spouting like weird noises and nonsense, and I'm
Because he was
like,
doing kung fu, man.
it's like that part of JoJo when it was like that whole thing over again for me, and I was like, what is happening?
I
But
think,
then as it progressed, yeah, it gets better.
yeah. I think they were trying to emphasize the, like, rich boy doesn't know anything.
It's
It's just taking
psychopath.
out of his kung fu movies and his kung fu chip that he's got.
Oh
So he's just,
yeah.
it's like, which is fair. If any of us got that kind of
Wonderful.
power, we'd probably be making the sound effects too. Because
I mean,
remember,
yeah,
Obi-Wan, fucking Ewan McGregor was
he couldn't
making
help it.
lightsaber noises during that. So,
He couldn't help it either.
I think
I
they
mean,
were just being very
that's
realistic
kind of
there.
fair, I guess. Another thing I really did like about the series was just like how they went about portraying and describing cyberpsychosis.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought
I
that was
mean,
super interesting. I
that's a
haven't.
pretty big thing in the game too,
Yeah.
but I feel like the show does a better job with its portrayal and its description.
Dude, yeah, it's
And that's
heavy.
It
honestly,
makes it like, I mean, it's scary, don't get me wrong, but they also like just show I'm dead. Oh no, I'm not dead.
no, you're good.
Okay, word. They also just show how sad the cyberpsychosis can be.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. 'Cause, and I know it's been around that kind of like storyline before, but I'd never seen that the human robotics mix affecting your brain like that. Like that's we've got
Yeah,
we
it's
see people like that all the time
sad.
in medias, and there's never like a mental thing like that usually with it. Like, I'm trying to think of some examples, but like I'm just having a mental block. But like from Teen Titans, like
Yeah, Cyborg.
Cyborg, he's a whole
Like,
ass
dude, like
cyborg. He's never
RoboCop.
got any
I
kind of like
mean,
problems
Yeah.
with it's something that's new to me, and I thought that was really cool. Yeah, and I thought it was well written too.
the emotion behind the like first time you really see it with Maine, that
Yeah.
scene
Yeah,
hits
no,
extremely hard, dude.
And
yeah,
like
bro. I think
it's
that
just
was
like
like
it's when he
episode.
kills Doro, who they're lovers.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like they never come out and say it, but you know that they're lovers. And like
Yeah.
he either kills her or gets her killed. I've never been quite clear on what actually happened, but
he killed
he
her.
like comes back to reality for a little bit after that happens. And he's just like, did I do this? And that's, I feel like when he finally has realized, like, I've snapped, like, I'm done. There's nothing I can really do.
Yeah,
I either have to die or I could potentially hurt everyone I care about. And so he just tells David to fucking leave.
yeah. I think David showing up kept him from fully snapping until like that moment, until he was okay.
I feel like another major scene that has to be talked about. It's the first scene in the show.
Hold on. Before we get to that, I want to say for that episode that you brought up, which was episode 6, because all I wrote for that episode was "damn cyberpsychosis."
Yeah,
After seeing him murder
that's pretty
his
heavy.
lover and then also die, and I still at that point wasn't like, "Oh yeah, everyone's gonna die." I was still like, "Yeah, all right, cool," but the gang, they're still
I mean,
they're all
the
good.
boys, they're gonna, especially when you see David like ripped in the future, you're like, yeah, he made it. He's sick
He's
now.
sick. He has
And then,
no problems at all, and it's like, "Oh no, wait, he actually
Like,
does."
right. But then you realize, like, oh, he's got Maine's arms.
yeah, he's not good.
Shit.
No,
I was gonna say, like,
that was almost a little fucked up.
the first big moment of the show. At least it was the first moment of the show that genuinely shocked the hell out of me. The scene with the homeless guy
Yeah,
that kills
homeless
Becca's
person,
brother
bro.
that
Yeah,
just immediately snapped. Oh my god. So that's your first real taste of
it
what
is.
they're like. To me, that's like what they're like in the game. As opposed to like how Maine was, I feel like that creepy ass
Yeah, that's the
stuttering homeless
external
man,
sign.
Well,
Like
that's
they
the like
just
that was
snap, start
horrifying,
taking on
dude.
anything that they consider hostile, and that's why I really liked what they did with Maine, and later on David.
yeah,
Um, I know. Hold on, I'm gonna talk about it too, but like I just really appreciate that they showed the inside of it too, like how they can kind of see themselves slipping, but they're like in denial about it
for sure.
until
Yeah.
it's far too late. And like the show got me, I'm not gonna lie. Like there were red flags left and right. They showed the homeless cyber psycho. They talked about cyber psychosis the whole time. David's mentor experienced cyber psychosis, and like the whole time I'm like, David ain't gonna get cyber
Not
psychosis. He's
David.
the same devil seem like a G.
He's gonna be the exception.
I was
That's
like,
what
He
you
he's
is
the
think.
special.
exception. He's not gonna get. He's immune to cyber psychosis. That's why he's special.
No.
No.
Bro.
Everybody has a limit, dude.
And
And then
I was so far in denial that even when they started
yeah,
showing signs like, hey, guess what?
same,
Boy,
bro.
David's starting to slip. I was still like, no, man, he's gonna
Bro,
pull
same.
through.
I was
He gonna do
also,
better.
and when Lucy brought up him downgrading, I was like, yeah, David will downgrade. And he said, no. I was like,
I
nah,
can't.
he'll downgrade.
No. And like it's kind of silly because like it is like a cartoon, but it's the writing. It does such a good job of pulling at the emotions that by the end of that shit, I genuinely was like, bro, Lucy ain't never gonna find nobody like David, bro. And
Nah,
David
she's
ain't coming
broken, man.
back
She's
ever.
literally broken.
Like
She was
there
crying
ain't
on the
nothing
moon.
for her, bro. It's all over, bro. Like
Bro,
it's horrible.
no,
Well,
that's
the one that really gets me is Becca, because like I said, when Becca shows up, she's a really rough character. She grows on you really fast. She had a crush on David, and she flirted with him almost immediately after they like met.
yeah, but I think they set her up as someone who like has a crush on everyone. Like
Yeah,
like
like she's
David was
kind of
just a new boy.
floozy-ish, but like also she just and like there is a huge time skip in the series, but like she becomes such
Yeah, true.
good friends with David. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like a true homie, and she gets so fucking mad at him. And it's like that kind of like writing, that anger that she experienced when like he was actively doing something that she and him knew was going to get him killed. She was like, fuck you, but I've got your back.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it did that. It yeah, it does back to the really good writing, like the friendships, the relationship between him and Lucy. Like they made that seem very real and like relatable for 10 episodes. Like yeah, and there was a major time skip in from episode 6 to 7, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that moment you talked about where Becca's brother died was episode 5 because I didn't write a single note for episode 5. I
I
just
could
blanked. I don't know.
I
I'm
couldn't.
assuming it was that. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
It
That's
definitely
it's
takes you off guard
brutal.
because
But yeah,
you don't
and
expect any of the main characters to die yet.
Yeah.
no, no, yeah, it definitely comes out of nowhere. And like everyone, I was still just in disbelief that even more would drop off, and then they kept dropping off.
No, yeah.
You know,
And
at least
honestly,
Falco and Lucy technically survived, but like,
but Lucy ain't really gonna be living.
no, her spirit's dead.
Nah.
And for
And like
like
when
for
she
all we
was on
know,
the moon and she like envisioned David being there with her, but like as his regular self,
yeah,
that was a hard moment, man. It's like, damn,
Yeah.
yeah,
so
It
much
was all
strength.
his grudge, dude. He had to make a choice. He
no, and
chose revenge.
what at first, the show has heavy nudity, and what at first early on when he first puts in
Bro, you ain't
his
played the game
birthday,
yet.
and he's like, there's tons of scenes with him in the shower, and it was very jarring to see the like, just the young boy with just the one augment in his spine, and then later on, it's literally just a full machine dude,
Yeah,
and
he's
it's
like
like it's the same shot, and
90%.
you're like, and you've just watched Maine go down, and you're like,
Same
Not
path.
David.
I'm
He's
special.
I can handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the
then getting
Ripper
off of
Dog.
exceptional writing and great story arcs for these characters. I also just want to talk about, so in the beginning, the animation I think was a little rough, but the way that the animation worked with like the action sequences in this, I really, really like that. And once the Sandeva scene becomes a regular thing, it's really nice. The little snippets they put
Yeah.
in, like when David was he just like became leader of the crew and they're like taking out a warehouse and some dude like surprises him with a shotgun to the face and he like has the spring heels implanted in his feet so he like backflips over the dude real quick.
Yeah.
Like all that's hot, man.
Oh,
When Becca starts shooting guns and they do like the close up zoom on her face in that wild animation, she's just going ham. Loved it. And then, of course, the final fight between Adam Smasher and David is just
you
Yeah.
can't even call it a
gnarly.
fight, barely. I mean, well, I guess for a
Yeah.
little bit there, they were both kind of doing the thing, but
What's crazy is like
the turning point,
because they're moving so fast, that whole scene is probably only like 10
a
minutes.
couple of sec. Yeah, I like when they. It goes back to that moment you were just talking about where he does that like backflip with his new legs. That's the first time we really got to see the that implant in full speed. Like they showed us the slow mo and then was like bloop, and that's what it looks like. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, nice.
Yep. Like
Oh
you
my
literally
god.
blink your eyes and he's in a different location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the game.
Yeah, no, I didn't have a problem with the animation at all, but
That was
yeah,
like my favorite thing to use in the game.
I am very excited to play the game, which I'll probably get.
Yeah, got to.
It really was fantastic,
Uh,
man. But how are you like feeling after this
yeah,
binge?
yeah. I mean, it's a short show. It's 10 episodes. Each one's like 25 minutes. So it's definitely bingeable. And like I did no sweat, and I'm here. I'm able to talk about it. I did. I was hurting a little bit afterwards. It's really good. It's really sad at the end. Uh, but also, I honestly didn't want to binge it. I really wanted to stop after like probably episode 5 or 6. I was like, I kind of want to break from this. Like, if I wasn't binging it, if I had casually picked it up, I probably would have stopped for like a couple hours at least or a day,
That's
and then been
fair.
like, okay, let me finish. Because it was like because it was so well written, every character had their own thing going on. There was a lot of story happening. Like I felt like it was, even though it's only 10 episodes, like there was enough there that you could split it up.
I feel
So
that. It took me a while. It took me about a week because I feel like I would watch like an episode or two and then like reflect and then like watch more. And like it slowly like took over my imagination like as I was watching it and like got me amped to play Cyberpunk. So
yeah,
imagine watching
Mhm.
literally all of it back to back.
I definitely feel like there it would have been a little. It probably will like stay with me for a little bit. Like I don't know if I'll have Cyberpunk dreams tonight or not, unless I like get the game. Unless somehow I can download 200 gigabytes of Cyberpunk onto my PlayStation and play it
I think it's
tonight.
only 90 on the PS5.
On the
Trip.
store, it said it was like close to two record, like, but
Good
who
lord.
knows? Maybe that's
Yeah.
just the DLC.
Who knows?
But
I don't remember it
yeah, no,
being
I
that
think
big.
I feel good. If anything, I'm just like now I
Giggity.
have a little Cyberpunk addiction. Now I'm like, I'm gonna get that. I want to play that.
Yeah, now you got to play through the story 3 different
Yeah.
times.
But yeah,
Four
overall, I
endings,
think
man. There's
I would
four
have
endings.
split it up. But nah, I'm glad to be in that world now.
No, yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
honestly, what I didn't realize is how big of the world there actually is. Like Cyberpunk's like a Cyberpunk. I don't think it's 2077. I think it's like Cyberpunk 2021 or something like that. But that's like a tabletop game, like D&D,
Oh,
and it's
I've
been
never
Oh
heard of
wow.
around for a very long time. It's been around since the 80s. There's like books and stuff like Johnny Napalm and this and all this stuff. Um, and it's a world that's been growing since the 1980s, and it just continues to grow. And obviously, Cyberpunk and Cyberpunk Edgerunners, I think, brought a lot of content and fans to this genre.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I don't know if Edgerunners was a passion project or a Hail Mary to save the company, but it worked.
Yeah,
it was a
whatever.
Either way, it was a success. I really liked it, and
Yeah, 'cause I
I'm
think there
very
was like
upset.
some
Like,
Japanese dude who like was into the lore of Cyberpunk, and he was like, I want to do an anime. And like
oh, okay, that's
PD
fair.
Project Red was like, you want to do an anime? All right, well we'll help fund it.
They
Yeah,
nailed
why
it.
not?
It was very like anime. uh, I mean, it seemed like very Western anime kind of, but also like still kept some sci-fi. Like it wasn't it didn't feel like straight out anime. There was heavy
I
like
feel
sci-fi
that.
fantasy and the video game vibe. Like there were several times where I'm like, why do I feel like this is a cutscene right before? Like I just finished a mission and now that this cutscene is playing. Like it was
That's
kind of
how
shit.
it's supposed to be.
Yeah, no, it was
You want
sick.
to play that game?
It's another thing, and this is also relating back to the game, but I feel like this is also just the story that they really needed, because playing the game is like the game is good. Don't get me wrong, but it's completely different from the anime in the sense of how the story is presented to you.
Yeah,
Because in the game, it has that, of course, RPG shit where literally everything revolves around your character. Like,
Yeah,
fair.
everything that happens in Night City is because of V, because you're controlling him or her in my
yeah,
case. And whereas the show, it had the multiple characters and it had their character arcs to kind of go. You don't really get. I mean, of course, you got V and Johnny Silverhands, and you've got some friends like Judy Alvarez and Pan Am, but it doesn't really get into as deep of an arc as you see with like David or Lucy or
Yeah.
Lee.
Well, and I feel like that just has to do, like you said, with the sheer size of Night City and like even in the game, like you're still only seeing a bit of what it has to offer. Because I mean, there's the three different classes you could choose to start from, and like you were saying earlier, there's different endings. Like it's
Yeah,
massive. And Edgerunners was just a small piece of just like one small gang in this massive city
yeah.
who are all gone now.
yeah.
So
No, Falcon.
obviously, overall, what's your rating? What are you
All right.
giving it?
Ooh, binge rating. All right. So yeah, first up the binge rating. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people are stronger than I am, and they just need to get it. I honestly,
You're
I'd give it
weak.
a solid like 8. I mean, I
That's
don't
not
know.
bad.
Well, is binge rating like it's
Binge
how
is
bingeable it
basically
is.
how much you'd
Yeah,
recommend somebody else binging it. Is it bingeable?
I guess I'd give it a
Did they
solid like
want to
8 out
binge?
of 10. It's easy to binge. It's good
heck
the whole
yeah,
time. The music vibes. But if you also like there is a lot of story there, so you need to pay attention and you will get
yeah.
sad. So, that's where that extra leeway is. I recommend breaking it up for those who are like very deep into the lore of the things. So yeah,
Hell yeah,
8 out of 10 for
Language
bingeability.
barrier in a way.
sick.
And also I do recommend maybe stick around and listen to the credits after a few episodes just to like process a little bit and then just don't let Netflix send you right into the next one. Sometimes you don't need that.
Yeah,
Damn.
sometimes a lot of shit happens. I can agree with that.
But
Like,
then my whack rating. Oh, sorry. No, keep going.
oh, I was just saying, some of the episodes get crazy, and it's
Yeah.
sometimes you need to
No.
sit there and be like, "Did that just happen?"
Yeah. Like I said, I did want to stop. I was like, I would like to stop, and I had time to stop too. Because we weren't filming for a couple more hours. But I was like, nah. I think just for the experiment, I'll just sit through it all in one.
No,
Damn.
but like
Trooper.
Ratcast rating, we all do that one, right?
We do all kind of do that. Yeah. I mean, that was a solid choice. I mean, as far as like just a one shot, I guess I'll give it I kind of want to give it like a 9 out of 10. Like, I don't know if I could say it's perfect 'cause I don't know enough about
That's where
anime,
I'm sitting.
Yeah,
but it
I was
was
gonna say
super
a
good.
9 out of 10,
We
maybe a
gave Stranger
9.5,
Things a 9 out of 10 too. So I'm like,
because
it's
there
hard to
were some
compare
issues
the two.
that I had
I
with
think
like the
comfortably
first
I would give
episode
it
that
an
I
8
can
out of
agree
10.
All right, Rhett's comfortably giving it an 8.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a lot of anime things that I can't critique well enough. that I would get called out for if I gave this a 10 out of 10. So
I'm gonna stay at a 9. I really am. I think it deserves the 9. Even if you're not thinking about the anime aspect of it, the writing, the action sequences, I guess the cinematography or animation, whatever you want to call it,
yeah,
it all worked for me.
it did.
The voice actors did a great job.
Well, Alex, if you're a 9 out of 10 too, I would say the average is just a 9 out of 10, an overall
Yeah,
whack rating of a 9 out
that's
of 10.
that's the ratio.
Hell yeah.
No,
There you go.
Cyberpunk Edgerunners officially has a 9 out of 10. So,
it's a great show. Y'all should go watch it.
It really is, and it's easy to do so
It'll rip out your heart in the process.
and
in a
just
good
in
way.
time for the DLC this year.
There
So
you go.
get
You can
ready.
pick up Cyberpunk, which is on sale for a few more days.
Yeah.
And thanks for hanging around. The second Unhinged Binge. Next
Yeah,
time it's gonna be
sure. I'll watch
Alex's turn.
Yeah, the
Uh,
third
And you'll never believe what I'm binging.
We've said it a couple times before
yeah,
on the show.
and for sure
We
it's
are
happening
getting
now.
to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender for
Oh
our
yeah,
For the
binge.
all
first time.
3 books
Let's
back to back,
go.
baby.
Yeah.
Book
So
of Water, Book of Earth, and
So
Book of Fire.
look out for
obviously,
that.
yeah, not sure when that's going to happen because I'm currently moving spaces and then we're going
Yeah,
to do some more Whackcast things, but
yeah,
that's
that's what I was
happening.
gonna say.
We'll have
So
another
look out
whack
for that in the future. Whack show. We're gonna do another just normal Whack cast probably next. So look out for that coming soon. And then as well as Whack show and the Avatar Unhinged binge following.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being here with us. Go watch Edgerunners. It was great. And also watch our videos. They're also great.
Watch our videos.